and Joey.
Hello, everybody.
What's up?
What are we doing?
Hey, there's great sentiment in the air.
Yes, there is.
All is good.
Unbelievable.
Shocktober has not disappointed.
Shocktober.
It's everything we've ever hoped for.
And more.
And more.
And more. And, you know, let's go back.
Okay.
Let's go back.
Okay.
When we first started, what was that, June? 13th?
Ish.
June-ish, right?
Juneteenth.
Juneteenth, Shocktober-ish, Juneteenth.
Uh-huh.
And we talked, Bitcoin was at what number? 28?
It's just around 30. It was hovering around
Yeah.
30.
Hovering around.
It went down to 29 was the
Right.
bottom after the May sell-off.
And I sat here
Yeah.
and procrastinated about the sorry. And I talked about jokingly taking a second mortgage out on your house,
Yeah.
right? Just joking.
We hypothetically mentioned
hypothetically,
that.
because we are a show of fun and not financial advisors.
Yeah. Right. Full disclosure.
Full disclosure, because you know, if you take financial advice from me, you'll be out on the street.
You may lose your home.
But in that case, in that scenario,
And look
in
where
June,
and here it is, Shocktober. And Jennifer, what is it now? Drum roll.
Oh, today, Bitcoin broke its all-time high, and it went up to $67,000. Today, it's hovering at about 63. So there was a little bit of sell-off after a 4-day rally.
Think of that. Your money would have what? Doubled? That doubled.
So
if
are
it
you
did
saying that you should have taken the mortgage out?
Shoulda, woulda, coulda, right? Your money would have doubled. Almost doubled.
shoulda, woulda, coulda.
Shoulda,
Well,
woulda, coulda.
you know, in the UK, TikTok and YouTube have started this campaign where they are they're wanting to warn people of the dangers of cryptocurrencies. And
Because
stuff.
you could double your money if you do it right.
Well, because
Hello, love.
Hello.
so they want to warn people that you could lose all of your money, which is very true. But you could double your money. So,
But they bet on soccer. They bet on the horses. Come on. It's like anything else. It's risk reward.
yeah,
It's
absolutely.
risk reward. If you don't want to bet your house, you use your lunch money.
Not the whole house. It's just a home equity line of credit.
Did you say whorehouse? Bet the whorehouse?
Not the whole house, Joey.
Don't
Oh,
bet
the
the
whole
Single,
house.
single track mind, this guy.
The whole house. Oh, I thought you said the whorehouse.
Don't bet the whole house. Just get the HELOC, home equity line of credit. Just get a little bit of equity out, and that 10,000 could have been 20,000 today, and it would have gone from just a little, above ground pool to a nice,
in ground with
in
a
ground with jacuzzis and a cage and
Are
whatever
you
else.
saying it's too late to still bet the house?
Again, not the house, guys.
Not the
Taking
house.
a little bit of cash out, a little bit of equity, and instead of buying that vacation and getting an instant gratification, put it into crypto,
Yeah.
Who knows?
Delayed
and
gratification.
maybe you would have one hell of a Christmas.
No, Christmas is being taken away from us because you can't
Okay,
get the
nope.
G.I. Joe with the Kung Fu grip. It's sitting in a container.
And no matter how you spend your winnings,
Yes.
but if you were to liquidate, you could have paid off the HELOC in 6 months and had that 10,000 of just free money.
Absolutely. You would be you'd be sitting pretty right now.
You'd be sitting real pretty.
Real pretty.
And a mortgage company would be satisfied. Your credit, would go up, and you'd be like the hero. And you buy a golf cart or again a nice big cruise around the Caribbean, and you'd be the hero.
Or buy more.
Definitely buying a golf cart.
Yeah.
I am with my winnings.
Are you?
Oh, you
Have
are?
you seen
I
some of
am.
those? Some of them are so
It better be
good.
wrapped in Bitcoin orange.
No, with your
Yes,
logo.
and then I
With your
can-
logo.
Then
Yeah.
I can write it off as a business.
precisely.
That's right. Because you'll
Yes,
have your
good
logo on it.
idea.
Because you'd be
Yeah.
advertising.
So that was very
Absolutely.
very exciting news. I love
Yeah.
to see Bitcoin crash. The previous high, which was what, like 58 or something.
64,000.
It was
So
64.
smashed right through it, went all the way up to 67,000.
Vertical.
And the reason why this happened
Why?
was because of some exciting news that the SEC allowed for a Bitcoin ETF to begin trading. So an ETF is an exchange-traded fund. But this ETF is maybe not the most ideal product because it is a futures ETF. So it trades on futures contracts, which is a little bit different than if they were to approve a spot price. So that happened on Tuesday that it began trading. And it was actually the most successful ETF that's ever launched in history, with $1 billion of volume in the first day.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's interesting.
$1 billion.
$1 billion.
That just goes to show there's a lot of money in this marketplace. I mean, a lot. Because ETFs aren't like, it's like something, a good financial planner will put you in just to diversify, but not really to like ever expect a big rally like that. Where
It just kind of breaks down those barriers for somebody who doesn't want to set up an exchange and go through a KYC verification, somebody that wants exposure to Bitcoin but doesn't want to go through the riskiness of going through all of those steps to set up and buy Bitcoin directly. Now, for me, like, I just don't understand why you wouldn't want to just get exposure by buying Bitcoin directly and holding it, where you hold your own keys and you actually can custody and have control of the ownership of your crypto. But I understand for people who are nervous of the market, it's a great product to kind of dip your toes in and get your feet wet. So there are several ETFs that are still in the works of launching. So there has been another approval. So this one was the ProShares, and we can get you that ticker so you can look it up if you'd like. And then also on Monday, they are going to begin trading Valkyrie and VanEck are the next two ETFs. So there are about 9 of them that are in the works. So, hopefully sometime soon we will have an actual spot ETF. So spot will be directly correlated with the Bitcoin price, which is a little bit more of a desirable product. It'll be able to time the price closer. And also, all in all, I mean, it's just a great thing to add sentiment, especially the timing in October. It's just got things rallying, and the government has basically given Bitcoin their blessing. If you were worried that the government is gonna shut cryptocurrency or Bitcoin down, they're not gonna bless something and approve it to go onto an exchange traded fund if they were planning to ban it. So gives everybody a green light.
Was that the green light that you think the market was waiting for? Or do you think they still need another validation?
I mean, it's happening. This is happening now. CoinShares just did a survey. The past 8 weeks, they have seen huge institutional money inflowing on-chain. So if you look at on-chain metrics, you can see all of the transactions and the amounts of money that are flowing in, and institutions are definitely getting interested, and they're putting big money is coming in, and it's just starting. So there are still a lot of barriers to entry. A lot of institutions are not even allowed to consider it at this point until there's more regulatory clarity, which is starting to happen, So I think this was the first step in the right direction.
Well, certainly, getting that ETF and having people now who are comfortable with ETFs and already have, in a portfolio a couple ETFs. Now it's just one more that they could, again, just kind of flirt with and speculate with.
That's true with the speculation because, like you said, to hold on to it is one thing. But other people, they want to come out. They want to get in. They want to get out. They want to dip. But the trading symbol, if you want to know what it is, it says here the proposed Valkyrie Bitcoin Strategy Exchange traded fund plans to trade under the ticker BTFD.
So that's Valkyrie. So that'll be approved on Monday.
Yeah, BTFD.
To begin trading.
That's the BTFD.
So ProShares is the one that has already launched and been very successful. Its first day, and that is.
And what exchange are we talking about? Is this like NASDAQ or
Yeah, it's listed
NYSE? Is it like on a big exchange?
It's listed on the NASDAQ.
Okay.
BITO, BITO, BITO.
Cool.
It's under the New York Stock Exchange. It says ticker BITO. Tomorrow, October 12th, BITO's launch will mark milestones for ETFs.
Okay.
There you go. Check it out.
There we go. It's on the big board.
Yeah.
So now as things have started to move, we've smashed through all-time highs. Let's look at the psychology of the market. I have the fear and greed index. pulled up here.
Psychology now.
Yeah, she always does this.
Now, we didn't even talk about that. We didn't get into the psychology.
Well,
of all of this.
let's hear the findings, and then
Okay.
we could explore it.
So we're at 69% greed.
Okay.
So, I mean, there's still like a lot to go before we get into extreme greed, before, people start FOMOing in.
FOMO for some of the people who aren't familiar with the phrase.
Fear of missing out.
That's right.
So as there's mania in the market, as the news headlines start going crazy that Bitcoin is just going to keep going up forever, and you'll see that happening because just everybody's talking about it. Your grandma's talking about it. Your hairdresser's talking about it.
I think you're going to see more and more of it because we didn't talk about this last week. It was in our notes, but we didn't talk about it. And for any of you folks that watch Fox News or watch TV like I do while I work, Neil Patrick Harris, Doogie Howser, and How I Met Your Mother. He does a commercial for the Bitcoin ATM machine.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
So
I've seen that.
So when you look at that, and people are starting to say, "Hey, wait a minute! I could go to the local bodega on the corner, and very quietly put in $50 and buy, Doge, because that's what they might know, Doge or now Shiba, please."
Please.
You don't want everybody to buy your Shibas from you.
Not for me.
Well, that's what I'm saying. If everybody buys them all, then there's nothing left for you to buy.
That's okay. Then the price will go up.
I think he's incentivized
But
to
don't you
want
to get more before it goes up while it's still affordable?
I'm comfortable right now.
You're satisfied with where you're at?
I'm satisfied. There's plenty. You know me, Jesse. I'm not a greedy man.
You're just waiting for that bull run, huh?
I'm just waiting. But what I'm saying, getting back to it, is just like Jennifer is saying, is just by that TV commercial, more and more people will know it. And then again, I have to give a shout out to my dad. He gets that Barron's report. Here's my dad, 92, reads the Barron's, and he's telling me, here's an article in Barron's. And sure enough, and then on Saturday again, New York Post had an article on crypto. So we're seeing it more and more, and then you start seeing these TV commercials for that ATM. It's just a matter of time of the FOMO, and then we're getting near the holiday. So when families get together, because I think we'll be allowed to get together, we'll be people, the younger generation will be talking about what they're buying in crypto, because the younger generation is buying crypto. Because I sit with the younger guys, I sit with the youth of today, because I'm hip, and
like you are now. You're
like I am. I'm with the younger generation here. And Macarena's still in.
No.
Please stop it. Don't even mention that song. So I'm glad the sentiment is good.
Yes. So one really great resource is the Bitcoin Rainbow Price Chart. It's a log scale, and it's got a really nice visual that can kind of explain where in the market that we are. Now, of course, this isn't trading advice or buying and selling recommendations, but...
What's a positive number on that? What's a good for the...
Well, right now...
For a happy FOMO. What's
now, where it says that we are is this a bubble stage? So it's kind of like, okay, mid-range in the rainbow. So the next phase is going to be FOMO, and then the next phase is like sell.
Do they give you a...
So you want to sell into the fear in the FOMO, and then you want to buy when there is extreme uncertainty in the market, when everything's red, of course, when everything's down. You want to sell into the strength of people that are FOMOing in, and those are the people that normally have to wait 4 years to recover.
Mm-hmm.
But if you hold on, every single person that bought the top of the 2017 bull run, they're in extreme profits right now. Actually, pretty much everybody's in profits right now.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I mean, unless you bought today, in which case you got to wait for a couple months before you're into profits. But for all those who've been holding, even if it was like last month, now you're up 20%. 6 months ago, you're up 100%.
Well, these next couple of months are going to be the the main event. So,
Yeah.
I mean, November, we may see $100,000
We're-
Bitcoin in November.
Well, that's what they were talking about.
Mhm.
What's the chance of that really happening, though? Let's be honest.
It's pretty good.
Because it would not only have to double from June to October,
Yeah.
but then in half the time, double again.
When it moves quick. Yeah. So
When it moves quick. Sounds
Isn't
like
that a song?
sounds like a rabbit or a squirrel that I know. When it moves quick.
Now, when we look at Bitcoin on this, where does Ethereum follow it along?
Yeah, so typically Bitcoin will run first, and then people will start to pull profits, and that will flow into Ethereum. And then from there, the money will flow into altcoins. So it's typically 1, 2, 3. So altcoins will go last.
Talking about Ethereum, they saw a new high as well.
Yeah.
No?
No.
What's the high then?
The high, I believe, was $4,400. So we did
Oh, yeah,
get
we
up
didn't
to
get
about
that.
4,200, but not too far off. I mean, we're going to be there any day now, definitely.
Because it's
Yeah.
what, 38?
Right now?
4,200.
No, it's up there. It's like 4,100. Yeah.
Oh, I
Yeah.
thought it was 38.
Well, it was like 2 weeks ago.
And I did hear, now I don't remember my source, I don't know how credible it was, but there is talk about a Ethereum ETF, and this would be a spot ETF, not even a futures. So that could send the price up higher as well. And then we also have ETH 2.0 that's coming up, and that's when they switch from proof of work to proof of stake, and that will just change the whole incentive mechanism. So the price is going to rage for Ethereum. I mean, 80% or so of smart contracts and DeFi platforms run on Ethereum. So it has high utility and high use case. So everything pretty much runs on Ethereum.
Yeah, so it's almost like buying into the monopoly board. You know,
Right.
your railroads,
Right.
the electric grid, any of those big commodity type utility, structures. You buy into it, and you know everybody's going to be using it.
Right.
So ETH is still very strong. I'm a big believer, but I have all mine staking right now. Every little bit of my ETH holding is staking. Thank you to Coinbase for allowing me to have that option. I was one of the first adopters.
Yeah,
Like
so
it's coming, get on the wait list, and as soon as
your
it
cash flows.
Yeah, as soon
on
as it
your
happens.
appreciating asset.
I've already earned $1 on my $5 holdings.
There you go. Lunch. We'll
Hey,
get the
you
Whopper Junior on
not-
Jesse next week.
Not for nothing. The when I did sell, because I think I've told some people the story, but I did make a big return. I doubled ETH back in the day when it went from 200 to 400. And instead of being greedy, instead of being smart, I should say, and keeping it, instead of being greedy and letting it ride out till today, where I could have turned that 200 into 4,000. 4,000.
4,000.
4,000, you like that?
He's spending time with me. I apologize.
It's a Jesseism. Just but I took out, except for like $1. There was like some change, right?
Oh.
And that dollar went to 5, and then and so I just been riding on it, and I'm let that little dollar turn into, hopefully, who knows, in 20 years what it may become.
Now, did you mean to take all of it out, or did it just leave some dust in there?
Yeah, there was some dust.
Yeah.
Yeah. I took the 200 and I took the 4, and again, when I traded it was like 400 and change, but I didn't take the change. I just wanted
You know
my
what I
money
like
back.
about crypto.com is that you can convert all of your dust to their Crow coin, the CRO, and it gives you that option like when you go to sell, because there's dust that's left behind and that increases in value.
Dust.
Another
A double
term
word.
in this vocabulary of crypto.
But it makes sense. Dust to dust. Dust to
just-
That's probably not the connotation they meant for. It's usually just what's left over.
Yeah.
Yeah. So when you move something, just figments of that remain, and as it settles, you could accumulate it in a little dustpan, and all of a sudden you got some more material.
And dust accumulates.
It does.
Dust attracts dust. I'm kidding. Let's get off the dust. It's been a lot, but we have dust and gas, and I promise you, if you listen to each episode, Jennifer always drops a new word
I know.
for us.
Dropping bombs.
Dropping bombs and
Word
dust and
bombs.
gas.
And
yeah.
if you do listen to us and pay attention,
We'll make you
we're,
smarter.
We're actually ahead of the curve. If you follow us,
Everything's we predicted comes true.
we've been a little bit ahead of the curve. I'll be sitting there again
Yeah.
watching TV or reading something on the internet, and all of a sudden I'm like, holy crap, we talked about this. How the hell?
Because I'm pretty sure whoever writes those articles are listening to this podcast.
I think so. We're giving them show prep. We're giving people show prep.
We are feeding your
Yep.
instead of like
We
trying
are
to resource
here.
all this.
We are here
Yep.
to keep you up to date on the
That's right.
latest news,
Yep.
trends,
You-
and people
That's
that
right.
are making waves in crypto. And hey, on that note, I just
Hey.
want to throw this out there. If anybody's interested in learning about cryptocurrency, how you can get started in buying, selling, and storing your assets safely, you can contact me at spacecoastcryptoconsulting.com.
Yes.
And don't forget to like and subscribe to our channel. Hit the bell notification to be alerted whenever we put out new awesome content. And then share us with your friends so your
Yes.
friends and your family can learn and not miss this huge opportunity.
So-
Sharing
This
is good.
once in a lifetime
Yes.
opportunity.
Yes. How often do you get to see us? Play us more than once.
Well, that's not what I meant. You get to see us at least once a week.
Well, I would say before you go to Thanksgiving Day dinner, and you have to have this conversation where you're talking about dust and gas, and people are going to be like, I don't know what this kid is on.
Wait,
Hold on, let me
Jesse,
finish. Let me finish my thought. Before you start dropping all these word bombs and confusing your family, maybe forward them a couple episodes so they could be prepared. So when you do try to have this deep conversation with them, they're not like totally like deer in the headlights, and they just don't shut you off because they'd rather just focus on the yams in front of them. Show them a couple of these. I'm like, guys, I want you just to get prepared, learn some vernacular, get abreast of what I'm going to show you, because I may or may not have some really exciting things that I want to have you mentally prepare for, such as investing with me or whatever else. So I would suggest you do that. Otherwise, just fill your mouth with that turkey and gravy and just don't even bring up the conversation, because it's going to be more confusing and more work than you'll ever want.
Oh, see, you went down a different path of dust and gas than I was going to discuss.
I have no idea what you're going for, Joey. And
Well, you were talking about Thanksgiving, so I figured you were talking about
no,
cleaning
not
and-
flatulence. I'm not talking about flatulence or cleaning the floor.
Well, that's why I said just be careful about the dust and the gas.
Well, before you start dropping all these terms, I mean, there's a lot going
I
on.
didn't know where you were going at first, so
ETFs.
I just was preparing the audience.
You
that's all.
have all these, I mean, there's just a lot to learn. Exchanges and how they work, utilities versus memes versus alts versus bits versus, all these
DeFi
things.
and-
Yeah, there's a whole ecosystem in cryptocurrencies. So all cryptocurrencies are not just currencies. There's protocols, there's enterprises, there's infrastructure.
Yeah.
So there are so many different terms and different sectors to get involved in. So on that note, we're going to take a break. And when we come back from the break, we're going to talk about Facebook and what trouble Facebook is getting into again. And
again.
yeah, it'll be exciting.
We'll see
All right.
us.
On the other side, guys.
Cryptocurrency can be confusing and hard. At Space Coast Crypto Consulting, we make cryptocurrency easy for you to learn and understand. In a world of uncertainty and out-of-control central banks, it's our mission to empower you with the knowledge that you need to confidently control and grow your own crypto portfolio. Call now to begin your crypto journey. 321-412-4021. That's Space Coast Crypto Consulting at 321-412-4021.
Am I bringing us back?
You already did, Joey.
Ha 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 ha. So we're back, and we are going to talk about the infamous
We're back
Facebook.
and we're live on Facebook.
Yes,
Thanks for
we
tuning
are.
in on
Cool.
Facebook Live.
Look at you.
That was very enthusiastic.
Wow. Look
Hey,
at
we're
you.
live. We
Came
gotta
out of
be
nowhere.
live.
I know.
Yeah.
She's so excited that we're live today.
Yeah.
Look at that. All right. You want
Well, this is the first,
I know it is.
and it's really just, I think, a byproduct of Shocktober.
Shocktober.
Shocktober has come and given us all the gifts we were wanting and we're expecting, and it's not over. We still got like another week.
Oh, it's just getting started
I
too.
know.
I
So
mean,
so what would
November is gonna
November?
be
So
even
what's November
better.
going to be?
$100,000 Bitcoin. I already told you.
Wow. Do we have a name for November? Nice November? Nifty November?
Let's digest on that.
Think about
But
it.
let's go back. Let's go back into what the cliffhanger.
So we were talking about Facebook.
Yeah, we went to
so
break.
Facebook was going to create a. What were they
So-
going to do? Tell us, Jennifer. Bring us home.
So Facebook announced publicly that they were going to be launching their Novi wallet, and
Nobi one.
so their Novi wallet, it was going to be like a tester to be able to transact from Guatemala to the U.S. That was going to be like their pilot market. And it was going to be able to send remittances and transactions using stablecoins. So the stablecoin USDP, which is PAX stablecoin. And so they were excited to announce that. Now they're still working on their DM product, but that was kind of halted by regulators. Governments didn't want Facebook to be interacting with digital money or having that much power when they have such a large network of users. So they were planning to launch this Novi wallet and talked about it publicly. And then U.S. regulators and lawmakers have now pushed back on Facebook and are not allowing them to launch this wallet. So they basically don't want any private company to have this much power. What do you guys think?
That's interesting, especially with Facebook. And now that we're live on Facebook, I wonder if they're going to cut us off mid-sentence. The censors are going to come flying at us.
Stranger things have happened.
Yeah. I find it very interesting that the government of all people are stopping, if they can do that as private enterprise, and stopping them from doing something. Or is it because it has something to do with monetary, although it's not our currency, it's digital currency that they have no regulation over.
Are you really asking that question?
It's kind of rhetorical, and I'm just throwing it out there.
You know that if there's anything to do with commerce,
They're going to stop
and
it.
they're not. Well, no, that's not about the stopping. They don't. It's not about crushing it. It's about figuring out how to get ahead of it.
Control?
Of course, so they could tax it.
Taxation.
So let's be honest. Nothing happens without
A tax.
a tax. And when there's anything emerging, anything new, they're either going to do one or two things.
Throw it on a barge?
You're finishing my sentences. I have no idea where you're going with that. All I could say is, in the past, when other technologies have tried to emerge, the ones that are sitting at the head of the table, they decide if they're going to allow that. You know, when Nikola Tesla came and was about to give everybody free energy, that technology was squashed, ripped up,
And then
hidden
he
forever.
was dead, right? Shortly
Pretty
after.
much. Because, the Vanderbilts and Rockefellers or whoever else was, control of the oil and coal and everything else at that time, that was a direct threat to them having that, stronghold on the energy.
Stop with your tapping.
Anyway,
Well, I find it interesting. Maybe a different take on it is the timing, right? So about a week or two after Twitter has released their Lightning Network Bitcoin payments on their platform. So now Facebook has actively been working on DM. So now instead of waiting to launch DM, they're just like, okay, we're just going to hurry up and put out this wallet to maybe try to keep up with Twitter or...
I have a question, Jennifer, on this.
Yeah.
With Facebook, you said they were going to experiment with Guatemala.
Yes.
Twitter was going direct to, was that going to be introduced to the American market or to a foreign country like Facebook? Who was Twitter's money going? Twitter's...
Everywhere.
Okay.
Everywhere on the Lightning Network, no borders.
So no borders.
Yeah.
But Facebook was going towards a country.
To Guatemala.
To Guatemala.
Using stable coins. Yeah, so that is interesting to think about because why was Twitter able to successfully integrate the Lightning Network to take whatever your fiat currency of choice is, convert it into Bitcoin on the Lightning Network, and then convert it back to your native currency, whoever is receiving it. That's it. That's interesting.
I'm just curious why we're partnering with third world countries.
Well, that's my question.
Oh, underbanked, 90% of their remittances.
Okay, because it's remittances.
Yes.
Which is another term for us helping them out. Right?
Yeah, sending money back to family
Right.
or, yeah. So their middlemen and banks take a large portion of that money.
Mhm.
So it's supposed to help with
Mitigate
the
that.
remittances. Yes.
That makes sense. Okay. Because I was going to say, like, we're not dealing with like big economies.
So
And when you have an El Salvador of all places getting on Bitcoin that's worth $60,000, like you don't see these people. I mean, I don't think even a village is has a property worth $60,000. It's like they're buying $2,000 like little shanties.
Hey, how do you think the El Salvadorians are feeling now that their holdings have doubled? I mean,
I'd be
Nayib
stoked.
Bukele, the president of El Salvador, gave everyone who downloaded the Chivo wallet $30 to open up their account and get started. So their holdings at the time when they did it, they've now just about doubled. So
And $60,
and
not
that's
for nothing.
a lot.
That's
for-
probably
in
that's a lot
El
of money.
That's
Salvador.
probably a weekly
Yeah,
wage.
Yeah.
So Jesse, I think you opened up a Pandora's box there. When we're talking about this, is with the remittance originally was going to banks, correct? Wouldn't some of that money we were sending, wouldn't the banks be getting the money?
Yeah.
So now with the digital currency, banks aren't getting the money.
Again, we're threatening their
Bingo.
livelihood.
Bingo. How about that?
Bingo bongo.
Bingo bongo.
But now that they can invest in ETFs, now maybe they're excited about.
Because they could put their hands in it.
They can put their hands in it. They can reap the benefits.
That's
And they can play the game in a quasi-safer environment, being on that it's a NASDAQ traded. And, for you to trade on the NASDAQ, you have to be who you say you are, right? With crypto, you could hide behind an alias or, whatever else, typically. Now, that's different than if you were to create a wallet. For most wallets, we have to give our driver's license and then we have to be who we say we are. So there is that little bit of anonymity that you're able to possess with crypto, especially if you're going to an ATM. And if I deposit $50 and I get a certificate that says I have 0.003 Bitcoin, or whatever that integer is, nobody has to know.
Hey, guess where?
Whose $50 that was?
Guess who just started hosting Bitcoin ATMs?
Who?
Walmart.
Really?
Walmart.
Bingo. Did that just show up
Yeah,
on
is
your...
that breaking news?
Breaking news.
Breaking news. You heard it here first.
It'll
It'll be on CNBC in the morning.
Yep. Wow. Has quietly... What does that headline say?
Walmart has quietly begun hosting Bitcoin ATMs.
See? There you go.
The retail giant is offering Bitcoin through 200 of its Coinstar kiosks.
What part of the
Coinstar.
country?
You don't need
Coinstar.
you don't need to have a identifiable or some kind of ID to use.
You don't, as long as your
the Coinstar?
transaction is under $500.
Right.
Yeah.
So
Oh, well, I mean, a Bitcoin ATM in general, if it's under $500, you don't
Coinstar
have
is where you used to drop all
prove
your coins, right? You used to dump all the coins and...
exactly like that, Joey. Yeah. It would blah 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 blah, and then it would give you a dollar amount.
Yeah.
And you could either load a card or you could get cash.
What part of the country are they starting in, Jennifer?
This photo is taken in Pennsylvania, Warminster.
Warminster? Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Curious.
Interesting. I didn't know if they were starting in Middle America, if that was, the Northeast. Interesting. See, there you go. It's hitting Middle America now.
Mm-hmm.
Bitcoin ATMs on the rise. See, it's going to be...
I think it's just going to be something else that just sits there and collects dust. Because I'm not sure if Walmart shoppers are... no offense to Walmart shoppers. You guys did it to yourself. I'm not sure if they're going to be the early adopters. I think people will probably look at it and go, I'm not putting my money in there. I gotta
spit out a piece of paper with a QR code on it.
Yeah, that's probably not the most likely scenario.
So you think Target would have been the better?
Hey, you know what? We are all Walmart shoppers in one way or another.
Not me.
So
I'll never step in that place.
Oh, come on. Have you been in a Walmart though?
Yeah.
Not willfully,
not willfully,
maybe, but you've been there, and so everybody has to go there for one reason or another. It's just mainstream exposure.
I hold my nose every time I go in there.
Have you been to the one down the street? They used it for central casting for the Thriller video. I swear to God. Thriller from Michael Jackson.
Like in the 80s?
In the 80s.
Walmarts weren't around then.
They were around and then. You just weren't born yet.
The first two?
Yeah.
I was born by Thriller. Trust me, I had the rhinestone glove.
The one around the corner from us here, I swear to God, people, if you walk in there, if you're not in pajamas, you're overdressed. You have to be in pajamas. It's like going there on a pajama party. You have to be in pajamas. If you're in clothes, they look at you like you don't belong.
No, and you have to have bleach stains or some kind of stain on there.
And shower shoes. You don't wear shoes. You have to have the open-toed, those Nike shower shoes, and socks.
Sandals with socks combo.
Sandals with socks and pajamas.
Those are called slides.
What are they?
Slides.
No.
Oh, another word we learned.
Something else I don't wear.
I don't wear those either.
Whale games. Whale games.
I
wanted to bring up the Bitcoin flash crash that happened this morning on Binance.us.
Holy cow, look at the diva here. Throwing stuff at us.
I just remembered, and I think it's important to talk about whale manipulation.
You go.
Well, I'm going to sit back and enjoy this.
Yeah, go.
So this morning on the exchange, Binance.us, it looks like a large inflow of, I don't know exactly how much, but we'll call it 1 billion or maybe even more, of Bitcoin was transferred to the exchange. And all of a sudden, the price wicked down to $8,000.
No.
So Bitcoin wicked down all the way to $8,000. And the reason why that happens is because the exchange, when you go to make a sale like that and you pull off so much cash off of the exchange, they may not have had all of the Bitcoin in their reserves to back it up. So it was kind of like a whale manipulation of the market that just happened in an instant. And I have this chart here, which maybe will illustrate it for everyone, if you want to hold that up. But you can see that big red candle. No, just do it on yours. There you go. You see that big red candle down? No?
There it is.
There it is.
So explain
so it's a deep dive. Like it's a vertical drop.
Yep.
That was on Binance?
$8,000. So I can imagine that they like halt the exchange at that point and maybe try to stop anybody from getting $8,000 Bitcoin. But
I mean, but for that 2 milliseconds that occurred, if you were one of those lucky ones, what a day. What a day.
If you had a buy order placed for something crazy low too that got filled, that could be a good opportunity.
Yeah. That's almost like a strategy.
Yeah.
Just wait for one of these whales to sell out,
That's
and just have like a limit order saying that
just ridiculously.
I just want to I want to buy it right there, and then if it fills in those 2 little milliseconds or whatever else, it could have been 20 or it could have been a minute long, but if it fills, and you're stoked, and you just got a Bitcoin for
$8,000.
No, I mean, but what is that? 400% off, whatever it is. Like, I mean, you're getting
a deep discount.
Yeah.
It's like having a guy. I got a guy. Get it to you cheap.
Well,
Yeah.
It fell off the truck.
Yeah.
A falling off the truck discount.
But imagine if you only had 1 to order, and you should have had like 6 to order. Because that's what I would have done. Instead of just having 1 fulfilled,
Would they have had to honor that, or could they say, wait a minute, we had a little...
If it's legitimate.
glitch?
If it's legitimate.
Was there a follow-up on that, Jennifer?
No. I mean, there probably is, but I didn't do it.
But still, that's pretty dramatic. And those little things happen. And so that's not something that would make anybody, create any hysteria in the market. But I think it's just one of those anomalies, those weird things that just happen, and it's fun to look at it wow, look, for that little second, I could have gotten $8,000 Bitcoin.
But it didn't affect the whole market.
It didn't affect anybody. Life is going on, and Bitcoin is still above 60,000.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
How nice.
No, good stuff. Well,
Yep, I think so. What do we got?
Well, does that conclude?
All right. Well, to close things out, I
Yeah.
want to talk about something that we kind of touch on every week, but I think it's so important. There's all these different letters. We got ETFs, BTC. So let's close it off today by talking about NFTs. So NFTs are super red hot right now.
I'm so excited about them.
Unbelievable.
I'm collecting them like you ain't believing.
So what exactly are NFTs? Well, to understand what NFTs are, we want to understand what NFTs are not, right? So a non-fungible token, to explain the opposite of what a fungible token is. So a fungible token means you can trade it for something. So a Bitcoin can trade for a Bitcoin, or could trade for an Ethereum or a stable coin. Basically, they're interoperable. A fungible token, a non-fungible token means that two things can be the same. So they can't be replicated or counterfeited. So you can think of it like similar to a car or so. So I drive a 4Runner. You're driving on the street. You see 5 other 4Runners, but you cannot use all of them. They each have their own VIN number and their own key. Another example would be like a diamond, right? You can't just say I have this diamond and then trade it for any other diamond. Another example would be a work of art or a piece of land or something. So something that cannot be traded out for something else.
Yeah, something that has its unique bearing, like a very unique number, like you mentioned, a VIN or anything else. What I like about it, and because they do have that certificate, that license certificate, there's going to be a finite amount of NFTs. Mm-hmm. And once you have something, let's just say, let's just say Mattel, maybe they bring back board games or whatever else, and or even like Monopoly, and and just like you want to have Boardwalk and a couple other holdings. Imagine that, like you're buying that particular game piece, that card, and then that's yours. And just like Monopoly, if somebody lands on it, you get a little bit of a because you have that license, you have a little bit of that payment. Somebody has to pay you to use that
Like a
particular
royalty?
art.
A royalty?
Exactly. So there are royalties, and I think as they get more popular and people can consume, like imagine having Michael Jackson's Thriller, and you have the original, that like you have the license to use that MP3. So anybody else that would use it has to pay you royalties. Imagine how, just like Happy Birthday. Look at the like Paul McCartney. He has all the rights to all that music. Mm-hmm. Michael Jackson. The guy owns more music. He's in the business of collecting musical rights. And anytime somebody uses that song, he gets. Even it's like a nickel or a dime. But when it's used over and over again throughout a lifetime, it's passive income. He probably makes $1 million a month on people playing his music on radio stations and Spotify and other places all around the world. So royalty heavy. Again, there's a lot of promise for that. And
oh, absolutely. Especially when you look at like the record labels and stuff. Essentially, this is going to like wipe out record labels. Like,
well,
you could as an artist, you could sell your property directly to your consumer instead of paying a record label 80% or 50%
right.
for distribution. You can distribute right to your customers, and they could help to distribute as well. And you could pay your audience to basically be incentivized to share your music. So it changes the incentive mechanism.
And I just think, because I have a vivid imagination, I think you guys could confirm that. I would imagine, because just like, let's say Sony Music, hypothetically, because I think it's a good analogy. They have the master copy, that reel-to-reel that they built. And that's the original, right? That's the original. All the CDs and tapes and vinyl and everything else they distribute, that's just a copy of that original, mastered, reel-to-reel, whatever, however and there's only one, right? And every once in a while, they'll take that original out of the vault, and they'll put it, and then you see a remastered. That's where they put the original, remaster it, and then it's just it's a better copy that they then distribute. So everybody wants a remastered version. I know I did that. We went from VHS of Star Wars to the remastered, DVD to the remastered, whatever's next. Because they take the original, they improve it, and they release it. And it's just good business sense. But NFTs, I think, are going to be kind of like that original. Mm-hmm. And when people want to copy it, and you have that license, say, hey, no, I'm the holder of that. Well, sir, we really like to publish it in our magazine. It's going to be, copied, so on, and you'll be able to get those royalties. And I have this inclination that if you are holding some really good, and I'm not sure how they're going to do it, but if, for instance, let's just say the Louvre or any of these museums who have like these masterpieces, and they have the Mona Lisa, for instance, and they say, well, this is the digital version of the Mona Lisa, and it's for sale. Well, of course, that's going to be worth a lot of money. And for anybody else that would use that or copy it or borrow it for whatever publication or whatever content, you get a piece of that because you're the original holder of that piece of art. So it's still not the Louvre version. That's
continuous royalties though throughout every.
Well, especially if you get something popular.
Yeah.
If you get something popular like a piece of music or a piece of art or anything else, or even like some of these kids are making, the apes and we have another, and they're just making like small little graphics, but because they get a buzz and they're trendy and they're viral, everybody wants them. So the market value goes up, even though, I could probably make something similar on Illustrator or some other art program. And, but you also have to do the work. You have to make it presentable and give it to people and create such a demand and create such a virility with that product that now it becomes worth something. I'm not going to say you're going to be able to just, sign your signature, upload it as an NFT, and people are going to want it. You really have to make that exclusive. Now, if you were able to somehow digitize a rookie, Cal Ripken that's autographed, it's like the baseball cards, which again, very, very in demand right now. And then you have that digital footprint, and anybody who uses it, maybe yours. I'm not sure if what I'm saying is going to happen, but I see the promise, and I'm excited about it.
Well, NFTs are changing the world, and this is just the beginning phases of it.
Oh, it's such a baby.
It's so early. So get in now while the getting's good, and it's just going to evolve the way that we do everything.
Yeah.
These kids are making a fortune off of it. Mm-hmm. These young artists, they're making a fortune.
That's what I'm saying. The first piece of news that I saw, this digital creator gave his whole portfolio, 3,000 different images or whatever that he's created. And some investors in Singapore gave him like $30 million for his collection. Now, granted, it seemed like a lifetime of stuff, but the kid is, loving life right now. And a lot of them were just like simple, like 64-bit graphics. It wasn't like, these big canvases. It was just like, one little character, another little character, just like little graphics. But it was a collection of them. And so he gave his whole portfolio up for auction, and these investors bought it for a very, very lovingly, payout. So the promise is there. People are already making money. People are already finding success through it. And NFTs, ESPN, Disney, they're all selling their rights for NFTs. So I'm paying attention to that very closely, because when the NFL and the MLB and NBA start selling their rights to some of these images, just like Upper Deck or Topps or any of those baseball card makers were doing in the past, they had to get permission to get the likeness of that player, right, or that coach, and then put it on a card, and then let kids trade them. I think it's the same thing, except now it's digital format.
We'll have to keep this. This is going to be an ongoing discussion, I think.
Oh, NFTs are not slowing down.
I think NFTs is going to be.
Trust me.
All right.
People are going to be wanting. Let me just finish. Okay. People are going to be wanting to collect everything that's able to be collected.
Yep.
Okay. Just like their favorite movie on DVD, and we saw that, the DVD craze and the VHS craze. I used to walk into friends' houses, and they have a whole library of all their favorite movies. It's going to be the same thing.
Yeah.
The same, same thing with grandma with her silver spoons, or your buddy from college, the frat guy who collected all the shot glasses from all around the world, the golfer who collects golf balls from all the places he visited. and it's just going to be one more
now
thing
you
to
get
collect.
to hold your collection in here.
Pretty much.
Yeah.
Pretty much. And anyway,
Interesting.
it's very exciting.
No, I think it's going to be something we'll have to watch, and as things get released, I'm sure that'll be an announcement that we'll have, and
Yeah.
maybe we'll
Absolutely.
create something for ourselves and put it out to the market.
Yeah, look for that.
Little caricatures of us.
Maybe 2022, but we have a lot to do before the end of the year.
Yeah.
Including a year-end wrap-up, and then we're also going to do a episode where we make our predictions for 2022, and those are all coming up here soon. But
Yeah. Exciting times.
very exciting times. Any closing remarks before we go out?
No, just want to say goodbye to everybody. Have a great
Yes.
week. Thank
Thank
you.
you.
Be safe out there. And
Thanks for tuning in to the CryptoWave podcast.
Thank you.
Make sure that you like and subscribe. And if you want to learn more about crypto, you can contact me at spacecoastcryptoconsulting.com. If you're interested in hosting your own podcast, you can contact us at spacecoastpodcast.com. And don't forget to share us where you watch us.
And pick up Brevard's Local if you're local. Pick up your local paper. Thank you. Bye, everybody.
Bye.